Welcome to New York's #2 sports show. The Rangers extend their winning streak to 9 games, so they are red hot right now. They beat the New Jersey Devils 5-1 in a pretty satisfying victory against, one of the Rangers' biggest rivals, and what was a big game for the New Jersey Devils. Last season, Devils got the better of the Rangers when it counted. Rangers had a chance to win that series. They were up 2-0 in the series. They were winning game 3. That's really where the series turned. And a couple of really, really bad games in games 5 and 7 at New Jersey. But this year, the 2 games they played at the Prudential Center, they got wins earlier in the season in more of a chaotic sort of game, which I think the final score was there an empty net? Yeah, 5-3. The Rangers won that game, and then this one, 5-1. And the shot count is misleading. The Devils outshot the Rangers 40-18. But that's extremely, not the way that the game actually went. A lot of that is because the Devils had some pretty substantial power plays, which we'll talk about. But, yeah, the Rangers, they're now back in a situation, as I've said in previous episodes, where they have one of the best records in the league. And their record right now is 38-16-3. So when you look at points percentage and just wins, they are up towards the top. It's very close with a bunch of other teams and with different numbers of games. And quite honestly, right now, a couple of those teams are playing currently with Boston and Vancouver. So I'm not going to get into it too deeply, but the point is that, 79 points through 57 games, pretty damn good, 693 points percentage. And again, that 9-game winning streak, the Rangers have not lost in a while, and they have a couple, we'll preview a couple of games coming up this weekend on the road, divisional games as well. But the stars of this game, in no particular order, Igor Shesterkin, and it's too bad he didn't get the shutout. He was a little more than 2 minutes away and unfortunately gave up a goal to Jack Hughes late. And Alexis Lafrenière had 2 goals. He was excellent. And Artemi Panarin had 3 assists. So I'd say those were definitely the 3 stars of the game. But a lot happened. It's a good thing. And maybe it's more of a bad devil thing that the Rangers are able to kind of manhandle New Jersey. Devils just didn't really have the fight. And they were physically kind of beat up in some ways. And it really all started with Matt Rempe. So before we get into the game, there had been some injury concerns, but ultimately the lineup was the same. So going into the game, Jimmy Vesey and Artemi Panarin were day-to-day with lower body injury. I remember last game, Panarin blocked a shot and was kind of hobbling off, but they both ended up playing. So poor Alex Belzile just can't get in the lineup. And the Rangers actually also called up Brennan Othmann. So they were involved in warm-ups, but ultimately it was the same lineup. But what ends up happening in this game early, and it kind of changes the trajectory of the game. At 2:25, Matt Rempe is called for a match penalty against Nathan Bastian. So this ends up looking really bad. And keep in mind, Rempe's a big, big boy. So, he was going in with speed, and Bastian ends up with a bloodied face, down, kind of in agony. So none of it looked good. But honestly, it should not have been a match penalty. It just shouldn't have been. If you want to call a 2-minute, a 2-minute minor, fine. Again, I understand why it was what it was, but it simply wasn't the right call. Not really sure what else he's supposed to do there. So he gets tossed out of the game, and the Devils have a 5-minute power play. And this was a big moment in the game. And the Rangers penalty kill does a fantastic job. Really, really good. And there was a couple of instances in this game where they were relied upon and they delivered. So, because honestly, on this 5-minute power play, the Devils really didn't even have that many chances. It was very impressive what the PK did. And really, right now, when I think about the forwards, it's really just 5 forwards that they're rotating. You got Zibanejad, Kreider, and then it's Goodrow, Vesey, and Trocheck. So, a lot of heavy lifting on their shoulders. But I would think that, although we don't know for sure, but by the deadline, they probably will bring in someone that can kill some penalties because obviously Nick Bonino had been killing penalties to a lesser extent, but not too much. Tyler Pitlick was. So, now they don't trust, like Adam Edstrom, like they wouldn't trust him to go on the PK, and certainly not Matt Rempe. So, but the Ranger penalty kill does an awesome job. Chris Kreider almost scored. He rings one off the post towards the end of that power play. So then at 9:09, Curtis Lazar is called for slashing Igor Shesterkin. And Igor wasn't happy about it, but the Rangers get a power play, and 5 seconds into it, they score. It's Mika Zibanejad with his 19th goal of the season. And this was a play where Zibanejad was looking past, and I'm not sure if he fanned on it or it certainly didn't execute, but he's able to kind of pounce, maybe that's too strong of a word, on his own rebound, and he's able to score past Nico Daws. It wasn't a pretty goal, but it does find its way in. So Zibanejad gets that goal, gives Rangers a 1-0 lead. At 16:59, Panarin is called for hooking Tyler Toffoli. There were a lot of penalties in this game for both teams. So at 16:59, Panarin's called for hooking. But at 17:51, good job by the penalty kill, Eric Hollis slashes Adam Fox. So now it's 4-on-4. And how quickly was it? 5 seconds. So again, 5 seconds into this 4-on-4, the Rangers score, and it's a goal by Alexis Lafrenière, his 15th goal of the season, unassisted. I think Johnny Bradzinski deserved an assist. So Bradzinski is able to steal the puck, poke checks it away from Luke Hughes, and so Lafrenière ends up by himself and just flicks it by Nico Daws. So both Lafreniere's goals tonight were good. He kind of picks a corner, because Lafrenière gets a lot of opportunities, and for him to have the finishing ability is really key. And you just see his game evolving. And it's a great sight to see. He really has taken a major step up this season. He is a threat 5-on-5. And so a nice goal for Lafrenière, 4-on-4. Gives Rangers a 2-0 lead, and that was the lead that they would have going into the second period. And so to the second period we go. And early on, so Bastian ends up, I think he left the game. He definitely left the game for some facial repairs. He comes back in, and Trouba lays a clean hit on Bastian, but Bastian gets upset, and at 2:22, Trouba and Bastian fight, and they give Bastian the extra 2 minutes, which they should have. Honestly, Trouba, what is he supposed to do there? It's a clean hit, so he goes off for at least 5 minutes, right? Because when you have a fighting major, then you have to wait for the next stoppage after the 5 minutes are up. So, but the Rangers do it with a power play. They don't score on it. Then at 6:13, Luke Hughes trips Artemi Panarin. They don't score on that one either. So I'm thinking, all right, the Rangers, because this game could have theoretically turned. They're up 2-0, but they are able to make it 3-0, which was important. At 9:53, Chris Kreider scores his 29th goal of the season from Panarin and Shesterkin. A great pass by Igor Shesterkin all the way to Artemi Panarin, and kind of leads to, I guess, somewhat of a 2-on-1, but more of just a great pass by Artemi to an open Kreider, who scores past Daws. So Kreider had a lot of chances in this game. He scores there, gives the Rangers a 3-0 lead. Then the Rangers take some penalties. At 11:08, Kakko, a double minor for high-sticking Nemec. But the PK, fantastic again. Then at 16:35, Gustafsson trips Jack Hughes. Rangers kill that one off. And then, just for good measure, at the end of the period, at 19:20, the Rangers take a 4-0 lead, and it's a goal by Alexis Lafrenière. His second goal of the night, 16th of the season from Trocheck and Panarin. Great passing play all around, and Lafrenière comes streaking in on a mini breakaway. And, with a nice goal, scores, gives Rangers a 4-0 lead. Third period, at 7:31, Timo Meier trips Vincent Trocheck. Rangers don't score there. Third period, not a whole lot going on. But then we have a couple of goals. At 14:29, Trocheck scores his 20th of the season from Panarin and Gustafsson. Again, that line is just so, just makes a lot happen offensively. And that's what happened there. I should also mention, with the Rempe ejection, what they did was Vesey moved down with Goodrow and Edstrom, And then basically it was a revolving door with Zibanejad and Kreider. Mainly, I think it was mainly Panarin that double shifted. Seemed to be the case. But yeah, that spot, for whatever reason, the Kreider-Zibanejad spot, that needs to be filled. And I think it will at some point, probably with someone, very likely with someone that's not in the organization currently. And again, you wish it was Pavel Buchnevich, who actually had a hat trick tonight. And I know his name is out there in trade rumors. I don't see that happening. If I'm St. Louis, I'm not trading him. I mean, St. Louis is technically in the Western Conference playoff race for that last spot. But so the Rangers have a 5-0 lead. Then, unfortunately, bad turnover by Lafrenière. I guess in the neutral zone, more towards the Rangers' blue line. And Jack Hughes comes to the way and scores. Not a great goal by Igor either. It went 5-hole. It's too bad, though. And Igor, that's happened a lot with him, where he's come close to a shutout and doesn't get it. So he only has the one. It's Hughes' 18th goal of the season from Toffoli with 2:07 left. And the Rangers win 5-1. So Igor's been really good lately, right? So forgetting about that not so great goal and you wish you got the shutout, 39 saves. Yeah, 39 saves on the night for Igor. So yeah, he really has been locked in. I agree with the fact that he played tonight. And it'll be interesting to see Flyers, Blue Jackets, who gets which game. And trying to think about this. See, there's the idea of the fact that you want to get quick in there, but what's a day's difference? So in my mind, I think that I would go with Igor against the Flyers, going for that 10-game win streak, and then quick versus the Blue Jackets. But I won't have a problem if they decide to go in the opposite direction. I guess part of my thinking, not that it's a big deal, but Igor did struggle in that second game of the year at Columbus, for what it's worth. And I believe, and I'll confirm this, that Igor, I think he was the one in net for the win that they had at Philly earlier in the season. I believe he was the one in net. The Rangers won 3-1 in that game, and it was Igor. So that would be where I would lean. I would go Shesterkin at Philly, and then Quick at Columbus. And yeah, if the Rangers win, it will tie a franchise record for their longest win streak. And it can be done. It can be done. Look, but the Flyers have been pretty good this year. The Rangers have, matched up well with Philly, but, again, the sample size for this season is short. It was just that one game that they won. But this one should be interesting because Philly is making an unlikely run to maybe making the playoffs. But yeah, hoping the Rangers can continue their winning ways. It's kind of remarkable what they've done lately. And, a couple more road games, not too far away. You got one in Philly, you got one in Columbus, a couple divisional matchups. And then they play Columbus again, actually, in the middle of next week back at MSG. So the Rangers beat New Jersey. They win at the Prudential Center. Another great game for Igor Shesterkin, Alexis Lafrenière, Artemi Panarin. They win by a final score of 5-1.